Hey, it's Eddie K here for Best Buy Plugin, and in this video review we take a look at the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL, the latest smartphones from Google. For Google, the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL represent a total shift into premium territory. So gone are the days, it seems, where the Nexus and Pixel phones would be more affordable or mid-range and undercut competitors. Now they are fully in the premium space and looking to compete. And by doing so, they are offering what they believe is the best combination of hardware and software with Android. They're not saying that overtly, but that's kind of the implication here because you have a version of Android that's pretty much untouched, and you have hardware that is designed to Google's specifications. LG manufactured the Pixel 2 XL, HTC manufactured the Pixel 2, but they just made the phone. They didn't totally design it. It was Google who did that. Having other manufacturers make the phones is fine. It's what the phones promise that I think matters more. And so we're going to dive in a little bit and see what these two phones have to offer. Here's last year's Pixel XL next to the Pixel 2 XL. You can see the design philosophy is mostly intact, though the 2 XL has a larger display, making it taller. The Pixel 2 is the smaller of the new duo with a 5-inch AMOLED display supplied by Samsung and a similar design to the larger XL version and its 6-inch P-OLED display supplied by LG. The two are essentially the same internally. You get the same specs except for a larger battery on the 2 XL. Buttons are in the same spots with a USB-C charging port at the bottom. Neither phone has a headphone jack, meaning you will have to use the adapter in the box to use wired headphones or use a Bluetooth pair to go wireless for listening to anything on audio. Google actually doesn't include any headphones with either phone, by the way. The Pixel 2 is considerably easier to wield for one-handed operation, whereas the 2 XL's frame does make it more challenging. In both cases, there's been concern over their respective screens, particularly as it relates to color reproduction and vibrancy. A blue tint is noticeable when viewing at an angle, especially with the 2 XL. It's just duller than one would expect from an OLED display, and more muted than even the previous Pixel phones which had LCD screens. It is a little bit strange. One new feature Google threw in was the ability to squeeze the sides to trigger Google Assistant. It's neat, but I would have preferred they allow users to at least map that function to do something else other than that. The camera, however, is the standout feature. What was already very good last year has taken another step to brilliance with these two phones. They do both use the same type of camera and can produce the same results. You're not getting one advantage over another. Google manages to pull all these results off by using its own software that leverages HDR, high dynamic range, for capturing great composition in a variety of settings. I could only control exposure when shooting, so controls were very, very limited, but I found it shot really well in auto in almost every place I was in anyway. The portrait mode is especially impressive because of how it uses one lens to do what others are doing with two. It works with the front-facing camera as well, and does a solid job in low-light situations, or when shooting objects rather than just people's faces. So there is a bit of an interesting twist here, because in the one sense, we have a camera that is just outstanding. I mean, really, really good results, and the promise that it can get even better than it already is, especially once Google opens things up a little bit. So I didn't like, for example, the fact that there were no manual controls. I couldn't control shutter speed or ISO or anything like that. I could use a third-party app and use it on the Pixel 2 or Pixel 2 XL, but then I wouldn't get the advantage of Google's HDR magic. So apparently Google will be opening that up and allowing third-party app developers to make use of that, which will make things really interesting. The camera is, I think, maybe the primary reason to get this phone. A lot of the other features work really well, but then you get into the screen issues. And I didn't experience anything really that others have complained about. I didn't get any burn-in. The blue tint, we already talked about that. Went over that, but I didn't notice anything that was overtly horrible about the screen. But I will agree that it's not the best screen that I've looked at either. It just lacked some of that punch that you would expect from an OLED screen. And Google says, as I noted, that they kind of designed it that way, that it's supposed to be more natural. And I don't know. I mean, this is such a subjective thing. It really depends on how you look at it. Either way, these are two really, really good devices and two of the best Android phones you can find right now. everything from call quality to just performance, overall performance. I mean, I zip through anything I wanted to on either one of these phones. Games, apps, video, streaming. I mean, it all worked really, really well. 3 years of Android updates is kind of interesting because that's the first time that I've seen anyone making an Android phone promising 3 years of software support. I'm not talking security updates. We're talking about like full-on Android updates up to like Android R, which is going to come out a few years from now. So that is a bit rare, and it puts it in line more with what Apple does with iOS, which makes things interesting. So hopefully that could set the stage for other Android manufacturers to do the same thing. But for now, the Pixel 2 and 2 XL kind of stand out for that. And that's my review of the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL. For Best Buy Plugin, I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.